One guy that we've wanted to hear from is Shaquille Leonard, and trying to figure out where Shaquille Leonard is in his rehabilitation. Shaq Leonard is an interesting individual, a guy who uses external resources to try to motivate himself to become the best that he can be. And we heard that during this scrum with the media. Kevin Bowen of 107.5 The Fan asked a question, and I got to tell you, Shaq didn't like it much, and Shaq let everybody know it, even though I think it was a good question, not a bad question. Shaq, he wasn't playing, though, and hearing what he says about not being 100%, I got to tell you, not really running at this point, it doesn't fill me with optimism that he's going to be able to play at a high level in 2023.
I'm feeling better. Feeling a whole lot better than what I did any point of the year last year. Moving around a whole lot better. I got more power in the calf. Still not where I want to be. Still taking it one day at a time, one step at a time, and just maintaining the focus and just try to get 1% better each day.
It's a process, but is the progress? It sounds like the progress is different than it was last year for you.
Yeah. Last year when I came in, I came in healthy. And then first day of OTAs, went out, ran around, with the guys. And then, after that day, I felt nothing in my left leg. So, throughout the whole year, just trying to figure out what's going on. But now coming in, feeling way more confident, way more power, way more, explosive. And just, feeling even when I walk now. So, very optimistic of, what the future holds.
Shaq, you've always been really honest about how much you love football.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a chaotic season last year, and you weren't on the field, and that had to just crush you. When you got some time away, what did you think about 2022 for this team and for you, and just how much different it had to feel than years past?
Last year was by far one of the most, hardest years of my life. Just fighting through an injury, and it was tough. Mentally, it was really, really bad. And then seeing the guys out there, fighting for a win each Sunday, and me standing on the sideline too many times, after the game, I'm in the locker room, just boo-hooing, man. I feel like I let the team down, not being out there, to help them win. And I felt somewhat embarrassed at just coming in each day, injured, not getting better. So I felt like I didn't want to be around for a while. It was hard. It was hard, still hard. Like I said, I'm nowhere near where I want to be, and just that mental toll that it took on me to try to figure this thing out. And this game is hard. This game is very demanding, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And that's what I signed up for. And I'm just gonna continue to work to be the best version of myself and get back. Last year I felt like I was a cheerleader, and try to be a coach at some point and try to give the guys some cues on what I see to try to stay close to the game. But it sucked. It still sucked. Standing on that sideline.
You never doubted yourself. Came out of South Carolina State. We talked about that. But last year, when you couldn't play and you couldn't figure this thing out with the cap, were there moments that were just like, will I be 53?
There's no question. Every day I think about that. I see myself on the tape. In practice, I looked slow. In the game, I looked slow. And a lot of people thought I was selfish for shutting down, having the surgery. But I think the only thing selfishly that I did last year was actually go out there and try to play. And I feel like I hurt the team last year whenever I was on the field. And it sucks to kind of have to sit back and watch that, and sit back and see the bad plays and knowing it's not you. And of course, man, there's been so many times where I'm thinking, will I ever be back to 5'3"? Will I ever be back to the maniac? So there's been a lot of times where I have to watch the film of my old self and find that reassurance of who I am, and never lose sight of who I was and who I still could become. And it's hard. It's hard day in and day out to have 365 days where you can't do a calf raise. So it sucks. It sucks, but I mean it comes with it. So it is what it is.
Shaq, is it a blessing? Is it a blessing that last year when you were coming back, you sort of had the urgency of the season and get back and play. Now you don't have that. You can sort of take your time and do it the right way.
I'm not going to say that it's still not an urgency. You know, there's OTAs, man.
Yeah, but the games are in September.
But all right, so you work with a bunch of guys, and they see you see them doing all the work. You think it's cool to be standing on the sideline while they're working?
Right.
You know, it sucks. It sucks not being out there with them and competing day in and day out. You know, it's just somewhat embarrassing. So I still think it's still some, you know, urgency of getting back, because there's nothing like going to war or, you know, not war, I'm gonna say basic training with your guys to get ready for war. You know, you standing on the sideline not being able to do anything to help them or show them how hard of a leader you are or how hard of a worker you are. You know, now they're just, you gotta trust that they know who you once were, and hopefully that they don't, you know, forget that. You know, that shit was hard, man. You find out who truly was with you, and who saw you for what I did for them, and you know, I mean, it was a tough thing. So I'm just ready to get back out there with the guys.
Shaq, how much do you internalize, and do you ever like ask yourself? I know you lean on, you feed off of the doubt and people saying you can't do something, but is there a point where you have to let go of some of that to remind yourself and maybe kind of get that tunnel vision and get back to who you are?
Yes and no, because I feel like if you let it all go, you forget why you do it. You know what I mean? I just feel like for me, it's more so, man, I've been doubting my whole life, and I've been proving you guys wrong for a long time, and that's just been my mentality. And so now it's the same thing, because I mean, I see the things where, you know, they say that I won't be back to myself, you know, I sat out for nothing and stuff like that. So now it's back to day one of proving who I am. So I don't think that I shy away from it. I don't think that, you know, I throw it to the back burner. I just feel like I continue to use that as a reason of why I wake up in the morning at, you know, 4:30 in the morning to get up, is to prove everybody wrong, because for myself, I know who I am. You know, I believe, you know, that I am who I am, and I just got to go out and continue to prove that, because there's a lot of people who don't think that I am who I am.
Shaq, did retirement ever cross your mind?
No, not yet. Not. I know you. I remember. I think it was year 3 when I had a concussion. That question came up, and you know, kind of got blown out of proportion with my answer. So I'm gonna continue to say, no, that never came across my mind. Good try.
Say he worked out with you in the season. What did it mean to, you know, just having him around? I mean, you all been close for so long, but just you were saying, you know, I'm working on my thing. I'm seeing him, you know, get better every day. Just kind of have that time to grow together.
Yeah, I mean, it was good, especially when we came in together, and you know, seeing the success that he had on the field this year. I was so, you know, excited for him. And you know, for me to be out of the way for a while and not be with my teammates, for him to come to Tampa and work out together, it felt like I was back with the guys. You know, I saw how hard he was working. He was working on his craft, working on mine. We got to talk a lot of football, talk about family and all that good stuff. So it was good to see, you know, how hard he was working. You know, it pushed me to, you know, to work even harder and become, you know, a better player, because, you know, each year he's stepped up to each challenge. So to see him do that, I got to make sure that, you know, I can continue to improve, be the best guy that I can be, and hopefully be, you know, a great duo at Lumber.
Shaq, have you been cleared to do something on the field, whatever you feel like you can do?
I wouldn't say, you know, clear about it. That question came up last year when someone asked a question about me being clear by, you know, my physician, our team doctors, for me to go play. That wasn't, you know, necessary, you know, the thing. It was more so, you know, how good was I moving, you know, on the field, stuff like that. So, you know, I'm clear to do everything my body is allowing me to do. So as long as, you know, I got the guys with the training staff, my team, everybody's working together and making sure that I'm not pushing it, because they know if they give me an inch, I'll take a mile. You know, I just want to, I mean, it'd be amazing if I, you know, be 100% tomorrow, and that's my, you know, that's my goal. And so I'm not gonna say that I'm all the way clear, because you know, I'm not doing too much running right now. So you gotta continue to work and work for that.
Jack,
One more here.
because of the injuries that you've endured and maybe the timing of when those setbacks have happened, from what you've learned, how do you approach this time of year maybe differently than you have in seasons past?
I think this year is more so of truly knowing the game now, of the approach. You know, I felt like a lot of times it was coming back and, you know, wanted to prove on the field of who I am, but this year, knowing that I didn't come in healthy, knowing that I'm not healthy, is more so the mental part of it, of the game, and learning it and being able to, teach the young guys about the defense. Because, standing on the sideline last year, it opened my eyes up a lot. I got to see a lot of things from a point of view that I never thought I would see, picking up tendencies and picking up things from, the iPad. So now it's just, elevating the mental part of the game for me.
Okay.
That's Shaq Leonard, and I don't think I was underselling at all the amount he uses external kind of feedback in order to fuel his motivation. Hopefully he's able to get back at 100%. I think that the media is all behind Shaquille Leonard in a way that he kind of doesn't understand, but I get where he's coming from. And you know what? We just hope for the best with Shaquille Leonard. He's a good dude. He loves football, and let's hope he can get back on the field playing at a high level.